deep dive where emotions meet the stars and spirituality takes center stage. Join Sherianna Boyle and Carmen Schott as they explore astrology, mental health, manifesting, and so much more. Two women on a spiritual path, sharing wisdom, stories, and the magic of sisterhood. Ready to dive deep? Let's begin.
Welcome, everyone, to Deep Dive. I'm Sherianna.
And I'm Carmen. And this is a show about astrology, emotions, and spirituality.
Each week, we're taking a deep dive into your emotions, your self-care, relationships, health, as well as your astrology update for the week, which Carmen's going to give you. This episode is focused on Sunday, May 11th. We're going to start on that. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day, Carmen.
Happy Mother's Day to you, too.
Yeah.
It's interesting, in astrology, the moon is associated with the mother and the mother figure. So when you look at the moon in your birth chart, whatever sign it's in, that kind of shows the personality traits of your mother or how you perceived her, for whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Can you say that again?
Yes. So this is fun.
Yeah.
So the moon is our emotional nature. So in astrology, the moon is associated with the mother figure. So when you look at your birth chart, wherever the moon sign is, that is how you experience your mother, how you either perceive her or her personality in real life is the sign traits that the moon is in. So if your moon is in Scorpio, you could have felt that your mother is secretive and a little bit controlling, and maybe at times not real comfortable showing affection, but doing more practical things for you, teaching you how to be strong, teaching you skills of self-protection, things that are Scorpio like, right?
Yeah.
If your moon is in Cancer, you may feel your mother was like overly too involved, like worried about you, hovering, like very trying to protect you all the time, always nurturing you, always affectionate with you, always trying to hug you, so whatever.
So it's wherever the moon, my moon sign is going to be how I feel about my mother,
how you perceive your mother,
how I perceive my mother. So I am in Scorpio, correct?
Yeah, your moon is in Scorpio too.
Yeah.
But your moon is in Scorpio, like my moon is in Aries, but you perceived your mother as those Scorpio traits.
Yes.
You're nurturing the motherly nurturing side of life in the home. That's how you saw your mother was. So for Scorpio moon, you probably saw her like business-like, very organized, like making money, working hard, determined, goal-oriented, Scorpio also.
Bingo. I mean, you couldn't be more spot on.
Very strong and independent. Scorpio moon has your mother, that they were very resilient and strong. Very
strong, but not a coddler or gonna. My mother. Yeah, we were just talking about this the other night. My kids and I was talking about when Maggie, was born in the hospital. My mom was like, "Okay, great, congratulations, goodbye."
Well,
it was like, I gotta go now. And I was like, that was your grandmother, she didn't coddle. She wasn't like, oh, I'll help you out, help you get on your feet. Like, you figure it out,
They weren't, you saw her that she mimicked, independence and self-reliance and strength through doing things like Scorpio, are not the most, they're very loyal. Yeah. They're very, very protective of their loved ones, but they're also, they also don't openly trust or show their vulnerable side. They don't want to be seen as weak or vulnerable.
Okay, so let's give you an example. So your moon is in Aries.
Yeah. So
how would you perceive your mom, and is it accurate?
Absolutely, it's accurate. So my mother is independent and free spirit. She doesn't want anyone to be telling her what to do. She's always on the go. She takes, she was never if I was upset, she would like, okay, let's go and do something. Let's go shop. Let's go. It what she, she wasn't comfortable with like when I was upset. Because an Aries is like, we got to get over this. Emotions are not gonna, crying's not gonna help you. Let's move forward and look at the future. She was like that fire energy. She never would, would really hug or comfort me. And I remember saying to her, I just want a hug. I remember saying this when I had a breakup. I just want you to hug me. And my grandmother was that way. Her mother was.
So now that's interesting. This is fascinating to me because it's our perception is based on where our moon is.
Yeah, of how they mothered us, and we gotta see it as, they had their own life and circumstances, and we perceive and expect a certain thing from our parents.
Yes.
But they have their own lives and birth chart and karma and their own lessons. So, you can't change how you are, like your personality. It's, how you show love. It's like the love language thing. It's the same with astrology. How you show love in astrology is your moon. How you show emotion is your moon. So, but it has to do with the mother, because the moon is the mother in our chart. So our moon, we have to be our daughters, wherever the moon is, that's how they perceive us. So let me give you an example.
Wherever their moon is.
It's how they perceive us as their mother. So Bella, my daughter, has a Capricorn moon. And if you look online, there's a lot of bad stuff about Capricorn. It's like mother is cold and unfeeling and a workaholic. So my daughter's like, Mom, I read about Capricorn moon. It's not good. And I'm like, what? And she's like, it says that my mother figure is like always at work, always working. She goes, and it's true. You're always working. I said, I am like so nurturing. I am like come here, give me a hug,
Yes.
And I said, so but she perceives me. See, I was affectionate and loving her thing, but she perceives me that I was like always being the one responsible.
A workaholic, yeah.
Working, taking care of, cooking, cleaning, all that, because we were a military family. My husband was gone all the time, deployed. I had to raise her on my own. I really was alone. Her younger years, I raised her on my own a lot. I mean, he wasn't around a lot till she got older. And so it was me. So it was like that fatherly discipline, Capricorn energy, because I'm the one that had to discipline. I'm the one that had to put her in timeout. I'm the one that had to deal with schoolwork and homework and, all of that. And I always worked. I always had a job. I wasn't a stay-at-home mom. So she sees me as that. And she jokes me now because she's 20. She's like, Mom, like you're not doing hobbies. It's work. I'm like, no, astrology is what I love to do. I'm doing hobbies. No, Mom, writing books is work. I'm like, no, it's fun. It's work, Mom. You have 2 jobs. That's what she says to me. So see, she sees me as a Capricorn, that I'm always
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That I'm always.
And you'll never, when you have, it almost feels, Carmen, that once they see you a certain way, it's hard to break that. Like what you're saying, you're like, I don't see myself that way, or maybe there's hints of it, but I also see that there's other parts of me that you're not seeing, or you're kind of zooming in. Some of it's the age. I mean, let's face it, when we're talking development, until age 25, we have to remember, folks, they're not fully developed. Okay. Brain-wise.
No, exactly.
They're not. They're just not. And you have to remember you're talking to an underdeveloped brain. And I remember when I was growing up, my mother would always say, wait till you have children, then you'll understand. But until then, we're going to agree to disagree.
I know, right? I know.
Until you're in my shoes, right? You won't understand, kind of thing. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of emotional detox stuff, though. I mean, it's in terms of you can't change it, but you could detox it. Yeah. And in terms of the levels of reactivity, the judgment that can come with that.
This is cool because we're talking about this on Mother's Day, and
I know.
Yeah, if you look at your birth chart, look at what sign the moon is in, and you can go to astro.com, guys, to pull up a free birth will. You just need to know your date, year, time, and place of birth. And the thing with the moon is it changes signs every 2 to 3 days. So even twins that have an almost identical chart can have different emotional natures, different moon signs, which means that each twin will perceive their mother a different way because they have a different moon sign. They're not going to. So the moon sign is really important. It's how we show love, how we find comfort, security, and happiness, and where we feel at home is the moon in our chart. So we feel at home with the sign our moon is in, but we also, it's how we perceive our mother and how we got nurturing or the lack of nurturing or what were the strengths of the mother are our moon sign strengths.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Scorpio and Aries, which we both have, you have moon in Scorpio, I have moon in Aries. In ancient times, they were ruled by the same planets. So they have a very similar energy. It's Mars and Pluto.
Really?
So we probably perceived our mothers in a very similar way. That's my
This is absolutely fascinating.
Independent, self-reliant, not gushy emotional, not real affectionate like that. They showed love in different ways than that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And Mother's Day is an interesting day because I think sometimes it can bring up a lot of our own experiences, whether you're a new mom and it brings up our expectations and the kind of relationships we have with our mothers. Some people are missing their mothers. Some people are feeling gypped. I didn't get the kind of mother that I needed or wanted or could have benefited from. It's really all over the place, a day like today. And then there's also grandparents and
Yeah, and missing, it's interesting also, just something to add. And the moon in astrology is also our maternal ancestors. So it's the grandmother, the great grandmother. And so we look at that pattern too. And my grandmother was like very much a huge part of my life. I mean, she was my best friend, my mom's mother. I would go and talk to her for hours. I would go straight to her house on the weekend from college. Like she was my person, so that moon is all about the maternal side, and ancestors and connecting with the female, lineage, the moon rules the tides of the ocean. It rules the water, and our bodies mostly water.
Healing. A lot of healing with that energy.
Healing, yeah. Manifestation, it's a very powerful, the moon is a very powerful thing in astrology, probably more than the sun, honestly, because it's that vulnerable, and it's our inner side, our inner self.
Yeah. I think today's a good day to honor you if you are a mother or you have, whether you're close with your mother or not, it's still what I'm hearing you say is that mother energy and that ancestral line in terms of the women and what's being cleared and what we're processing emotionally and what was left unprocessed that maybe you're willing to take the baton and say, okay, I get it. Perhaps that's some of my purpose. So do you ever feel like that, Carmen? Like sometimes we are helping to clear up these lines to create the new earth here.
It's ancestral karma. The ancestors. So there's a lot in astrology about this too. When we're born, in astrology, we look at what was the mother going through during that time, because that imprints on us.
Yeah.
So if there was a difficult birth or if, whatever happened, that theme can play out in our life, that karma, that kind of, and that's like where you heal stuff. Because the thing I realized is, no parent, everyone thinks their parents are perfect. I mean, let's be honest. I used to be naive. I used to think our parents are supposed to be like perfect role models, right? No.
Yes.
Parents are normal human beings just like us that are souls that are here for their own learning. They're never going to be exactly how we expected them to be because they were going through their own stuff when we were little. You just try to survive and raise your kids the best you can do. No one's perfect. So when I realized that our true parents, it's not our mom and dad. It's the universe. It's God.
It's God. That's right.
And so they're here, and we're
all big. Yeah.
We chose to be born to the mother and the family we had for our soul learning. I believe that. And astrology shows that. That's the map of your soul. So
Beautiful.
we chose to be born when we were, and we picked our parents. I read a book about that, and I'm like, wow, it says you picked your parents. You chose your parents. Well, why would I do that? People say to me, I'm like, because you wanted to learn something.
Exactly. There was something for you to heal, something. How do we evolve?
Yeah.
And I believe that as well, Carmen. Absolutely. And I think that sometimes we do inherit emotions, and we inherit a lot of our mother's emotions. Even in the womb, we can absorb that. So this is a very deep discussion today on Deep Dive. We're talking about mothers. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. If you're just joining us on KMET Radio, we do need to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more from Carmen and Sherianna. Hang in there.
Astrology is energy. Unlock the wisdom of your birth chart with my new book, Your Astrological Energy. Pre-order your copy today and receive 10% off a personal consultation with me. Visit CarmenTurnerSchott.com to claim your special offer today.
When was the last time you took time for you? Hi, I'm Sherianna Boyle, author of the Emotional Detox book series and several other books. I also lead a variety of wellness retreats throughout the year. Visit SheriannaBoyle.com/events to find out more and to book your retreat today. Again, it's SheriannaBoyle.com/events. Welcome back to Deep Dive with Sherianna and Carmen. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. And we're talking about the full moon on Mother's Day and the mother line and generational healing of women today. So this is a day to celebrate that and to tune into that energy.
Yeah, the full moon this week is in Scorpio. So that's a very powerful sign because Scorpio rules death, rebirth, regeneration, resurrection, healing past karmas, past traumas. So right after Mother's Day, this week, guys, is all about healing and letting go and forgiving. That's what a full moon in Scorpio is going to bring up for all of us is, because all those nurturing, how we were nurtured, any kind of wounds we have, Scorpio energy makes us look at them. Because it's ruled by Pluto, it's like you're going to see it. You're going to see your issue. You're going to feel uncomfortable. I'm going to make you feel a little uncomfortable emotionally. And then it's because it wants us to grow. So a full moon in Scorpio means you got to look, is there anyone you haven't forgiven, anything you haven't let go of, that you still have resentment or jealousy or anger? A Scorpio full moon intensifies all of that emotion in us. And so it makes us purge, cleanse, let go, release. So that's the energy of this week that we're going to be feeling all through the week. That's the big one.
It just feels like energetically it's a good time to be present to that and to know that there's a lot going on. So I wouldn't overdo it. It's really not about the gifts per se, Carmen. I mean, it's nice to be acknowledged, but be careful of getting the perfect gift or I don't think mothers really want that. What do you think? I mean, maybe some want the presents, but
it's kind of, to me, I think it's kind of goes back to the love languages of, knowing your parents' love language. I know, like our husband's love language. My husband doesn't want me to buy him anything. He will take it back if I buy him something and get the money back. I'm like, okay, guy, I'm not buying any more gifts. Learn my lesson. He wants practical things. He's acts of service. So my mother, though, on the other hand, I always get her flowers because she likes flowers.
That's nice. Flowers are a nice gift. Yeah.
Only likes a certain kind. So I know what she likes. She likes calla lilies is her favorite. And so I always get her this really beautiful, and I even told my husband last Mother's Day, last year, I said, these are the kind of flowers I want. Flowers on Mother's Day. I said, not red roses. I'm not into the.
I don't like red roses either. I feel like it's a funeral.
Always gives me red roses.
Me too. I'm like, why? It's not a funeral. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I get my mother there's yellow and pink and white and the baby's. I always get her, and she just loves it. So I usually always get her what I know she likes.
A beautiful bouquet of flowers. That's nice. I could spend some time or go out to lunch or brunch or however people like to spend time together and just enjoy each other's company. But keep in mind, there's a lot of stuff coming up right now, and you can process that. You don't have to just sit in it. Just Make sure you're breathing and staying connected, and take time to process what you're feeling emotionally, your triggers. I know for years my mother triggered me, Carmen. For years. They were strong triggers. And thank goodness, I've processed all around that. I don't get triggered. I'm able to feel lighter around her and laugh, and some of that I think is just getting older and maturing and all that. But I know what that's like when you're like, oh, my mother drives me crazy, kind of thing. Yeah.
And or how different you sometimes realize how different you are from your mother, and just how different you show love or you do things, and you just get an acceptance, I think, as you get older, accepting your parents for how they are. Like, we're never going to be able to change our childhood, and then for those out there that don't have a mother or that lost their mother, this can be those anniversary dates, those holiday things can bring up the sadness. I see people on Facebook, during Mother's Day, Father's Day, posting, I wish I had my mother here, and I see those kind of, it's really sad. And, it's a whole different way of life for some people with Mother's Day.
Sure.
People that are adopted, I have a lot of friends that are adopted and things, and they consider their adoptive mother their birth mother. I mean, that's their mother. And then they may even have a relationship with their biological mother, and they stay in touch, but they celebrate their adoptive mother. There's all these really intricate psychological differences that we all have during these holidays that come up, and it gets complex sometimes.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I will probably be spending some of my Mother's Day, at least, with my mother-in-law. Now, that's a whole nother ball of wax there.
Another talk. Yes.
That's another show.
Yes, that's a good couple
I'm
shows.
sure there will be some celebrating with her since we do not live very far apart from each other. And that's an interesting dynamic to watch there. Watching someone else interact with their mother, and that relationship is it's all very interesting. As long as we're observing and calling it interesting, then we're not judging it, right? Keeps the energy in flow for sure. How about you, Carmen? We just have a couple more minutes left here. Is there anything you need to tell us before you share how you're going to spend your Mother's Day?
No, just, with this.
Be aware.
Be aware of the full moon, and then, I was going to say that, they always, in psychology, the 101, they always say, a male always marries someone that's like his mother, or a female.
Oh, boy.
So I'm like, oh man, am I like my mother-in-law? And then my daughter, like, she recently said, last time my mother-in-law was here, she said, I get it, Dad. I get it. She's like, they're alike. I'm like, no, I'm not. And she's like, yes, you are. That's what she said. Because
Isn't
the same thing she does, not everything. I mean, we're very different in a lot of ways, but the deeper how we show love and nurturing, I'm a lot like her, which he does not like the gushy, the hugs, or he's not into that. It's just different love language. But she's like that and that's how she parented him. And he kind of married someone that's a little bit like that. So my daughter she was right in a way. I could see it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they like to tease her. Him and his brother love to tease her. And that's what he does to me. He teases me about things.
Interesting. Yeah. That's what I mean about dynamics.
Yeah. I'm an astrology goofball, and he's the Mr.
Yes.
President,
Yes.
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, another episode of Deep Dive, right? That now you have your weekly update, everyone. We hope that you have a beautiful Mother's Day out there. We hope it's a wonderful day wherever you are, that at least you get outside and enjoy the day, celebrate this day. We wouldn't be alive without our mother. So there's a lot to celebrate here. Thanks for listening to another episode of Deep Dive. You can always find our replays at Deep Dive with Carmen and Sherianna on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there. And so if you miss it live on KMET Radio, now you know where to go. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for tuning into Deep Dive with Sherianna Boyle and Carmen Turner Schott. If today's episode inspired you, don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave us a review. For more insights and resources, visit CarmenTurnerSchott.com and SheriannaBoyle.com. Until next time, keep diving deep into your soul's journey.
Hi, this is Carmen Turner Schott, author and psychological astrologer. My newest books are Your Astrological Energy and Astrology's Magical Nodes of the Moon. Both offer powerful insights to help you understand your emotions and your spiritual journey through astrology. Discover how your birth chart can help you heal, transform, and become more resilient. Visit my website today at CarmenTurnerSchott.com and grab your copies on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and online stores.
Looking to transform your life? Sherianna Boyle, author of 11 powerful books, invites you to take a deep dive. Explore her emotional detox series, discover manifesting with energy in action, and connect with spirit in her latest book, Just Ask Spirit. Start your journey today. Find all her books at SheriannaBoyle.com.